All right, so now we're going to be disclosing a loan in Towne Mortgage. Same thing they use Encompass. Pretty much the same steps as PRMG from the previous video that we shot. However, there's less steps to do when getting the disclosures out, which makes it easier on our end, but also, you know, there's some uncertainty with it. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get this rolling. So this is the screen. You come up here to add loan. So we'll go ahead and select for processor, we'll select me. We'll go to next, import 3.2. Here's the 3.2, bring it over, hit next. They don't ask you who's disclosing, lender or broker. That just comes up later. So
Gotcha.
on this one, it's the same steps, but instead of register, it says create loan on the top right corner here. But what we're going to do is go through the same things that we went through with the last one, verifying everything is correct. So decision FICO, put that in 676. Interest rate, but that might actually be lower. So we'll figure that out when we get there. For FHA, it asks you to select the section of the act for the FHA. For purchases, it's 203 Bravo. So select 203 Bravo. And then come over to the MI calculator and just click this little button up the top that says Get MI. Since this is FHA, it does have an MI or mortgage insurance. So we click that button. Everything's going to populate in here. Once that does, 1.75, 0.85, all that shows up. So you just hit done. And now you see that those numbers populate. The 0.85 populates there. Impound waiver, we're going to say not waived. For documentation type, we're going to select full. Estimated closing date is the 12th of June, which I don't think we're going to make, but, you know, let's go. Let's get this out. 12th.
This seems a lot more smoother than the other one we just closed with, or disclosed with.
They're about the same, you know.
Yeah.
So this is a manufactured home, so make sure that we select manufactured housing there, because that does affect the pricing on the rate sheet. So we got to make sure that that is selected properly. So now that that's done on this screen, what we're going to do is go through all the information like we went through on the previous one. And again, you could tell that the number didn't populate in, so we're going to put that in and make sure that everything else is correct.
Okay.
Just verifying everything's good. Go to employment history, make sure that it's at least in there, and it is. Go to assets. I like to go to assets and just verify that everything came over. And then what we're going to do is add the earnest money, which is $1,000. I should probably have the contract pulled up here just so that I know what everything is. The holder is Cooperative Title. And hit save. And a big thing again too is transaction details. Make sure that the earnest money deposit and the seller concession are there.
Okay.
One thing that this lender, and we'll get to that momentarily, so I'm not going to confuse everybody here. So now that we have the loan information updated, the borrower information we know is correct, and then we have the assets and the transaction details are good, what we're going to do is click create loan, which is the same thing as registering in the previous lender. We're going to get a loan number and all that stuff's going to populate up top. Give that a second to whirl through. And as you tell, boom, there we got a loan number, loan amount, FHA, all that stuff is in. We're going to go to products and pricing. Same thing, right? It says it doesn't have a program, so let's search it. Make sure all the red asterisks are filled in properly. This one does pull over the appraised value like PRMG did not, where we actually had to input it. DU finding and hit approve eligible. And we'll put in 3.875 as our target rate because that's what was on the
Oh, top left, borrower citizenship status.
So let's find out on the 1003 here. Good catch on that. He's a non-permanent resident alien. So non-permanent resident alien. And now we can click search product and pricing. There's also some key points here that I want to point out when we get to the next screen of buying out the underwriting fee. And they're in different spots. So I'll just point those out in Towne. Again, they're using Optimal Blue as the pricing engine, so it's all the same. It's just, you know, how they have their Optimal Blue set up. So lender paid compensation is yes. Underwriting fee buyout, that's a yes. It's going to refresh the screen. And then there is no place where you have to put number of finance properties.
Okay.
Excuse me. So now we come down to hit submit. All right, so 3875 pricing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that because that's what we got. You know, it looks like par is in the fives. We'll select that. Again, click the blue lock button, but you're not going to lock it. It's going to take you to another screen where you can update Encompass or request the lock. So we'll just update Encompass. Give Optimal Blue time to think about it. It takes a while. Once that's done, click close, and then Encompass is going to update. And when it takes us back to the other screen, we'll have a loan program selected. 30-year FHA fixed. So bingo, bango, bongo, we're there. So now, unlike PRMG, we don't have to order credit. We can go straight to order DU. So what we're going to do is go to order DU. I'm going to go to lending pad to make sure that we have his credit report number available.
Okay.
So for some reason, the FHA sponsor identifier is here. We need to cut it and move it to FHA lender ID.
Huh.
I don't know why it does that.
That's odd.
But when you try to run it, if you don't do that, you're going to get an error saying that you don't have the correct.
You know what I think it might be is that in lending pad, I think you have to put it in the FHA sponsor ID when you run AUS in lending pad.
Right, but this is Towne's number. What we put in the lending pad is
gotcha.
Cardinals.
Okay, I
So,
gotcha.
so now
it's
we're
just weird then.
Yeah, it's just it does it very weirdly. It is a little quirk, so make sure that LOs or whoever's disclosing the loan that you flip that number up so that when you run DU, you don't get an error. All right, so I put in the password, Advanced Credit Colorado. Let's order DU. Again, the longest parts of these process, right, is allowing things to refresh and come through. Don't get upset when it takes a while or you think you're doing something wrong. It does take a little bit. And if you do get an error code, normally it's very easy to fix them.
Gotcha.
So you'll know you've done it right if you get this little blue button up here in the corner that says view findings. So we did it right. And again, it's going to populate the findings for us. And we got approved ineligible because it says this case ineligible due to inadequate funds to close. But that shouldn't be the case because we have it. So what we're going to do is go figure that out real fast and make sure we're good because funds to close should be, and he has more than that. So we'll just go look at it. But let's look at the DTI 30 and 32, which is exactly what we had. So let's close this, go into borrower information and assets. So it looks like he had enough cash value here, so something just isn't populating properly.
Okay.
So we're just going to leave that be and let the underwriter look at that for now. So now that DU is ran, what we're going to do is if you click this disclosure button, it's going to tell you you're not ready. Initial LE package isn't attached. Not a problem, right? Because what we can do is we'll go into Lending Pad. So let me pull over Lending Pad here and show you where to get the LE. So if you come up to disclosures, this is the LE. So just make sure that everything is in here properly. So what we're going to do is hit edit because we're not going to charge $93 for a credit report fee. Allow this to populate here. So it's $32.50. So make sure that's right. All this stuff is in here. Third party, yes. We got 12 months hazard insurance. We got 3 and 3 for taxes and insurance. And then this is the one that for most of loans, there's a Latin Hope admin fee. So make sure that that's in there properly so that if the lender wants to disclose it, they can. Once that's done, hit save. It should auto-populate, and then you can click this button, Preview Loan Estimate. It'll pull up the LE. Just come down through, make sure it looks right. $32 or $33. You have we have no for transfer taxes, recording fee, yes. All that looks right. And then come down here, hit the download button, and you're going to save it in their file or whatever file you're working in. Make sure you save it in the proper one. So we're here. I just call it LE. Hit save. So once that's done, what you want to do is come back to Documents, and it's going to, and this is going to be here, Initial LE Request Package. So you click Browse, find the right G drive. Find the LE, hit Open. What that's going to do is pull it in. What I like to do is once it's in, it gives you this close and refresh. I just hit close and refreshed, and now it's there. And now I can come down to disclosures, and I'm ready to disclose. So what I'm going to do is hit the button and hit continue. And now the loan is in town, ready to be disclosed. So since we have all the initial documents, we want to upload the initial documents and submit the loan. To do that, you go to Add Document and come down to the very bottom where it says Wholesale Submission Package. Click on that, hit Save, and it's going to give us another box that we can work in. So now we have a Wholesale Submission Package.
Okay.
We're going to browse, and now we're in his folder, and we're going to select the documents that we want to be inputted, right? So we're going to ensure bank statements, the contract, the EMD check, his ID, the payoff, pay stubs. We'll put in the W-2. Well, we're not going to put in 17 W-2s. We'll put in 18 W-2 and 19 W-2s and make sure that those are good. And we'll put in the proof of address. But I don't want to
put as much as you can.
Yeah, I don't want to put in the 17 W-2s because I don't want more info in there than they need.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is move these to submitted. Let me close the contract because it won't move it if it's open. Hit try again. Now all those are done. So what I'm going to do is come to submitted and click all these again because these are what I want to submit. So now all these things, and hit open. Now all these are just going to be uploaded initially.
Okay.
So once all these are done, again, this will change to close and refresh. I'll close and refresh it. Then we'll come over to submit loan and submit it.
Right. Hey, do you know about any word on The Mandalorian season 2?
No, but I know that they're saying something about 5 seasons total, but in between season 1 and season 2, they came out with something about shooting Mandalorian, like a documentary.
Huh. Okay.
All right, so now it's completed. It's going to give me the option to close and refresh. I'm going to close and refresh it. I'm going to come down to submit loan. And it's going to tell me, hey, are there any errors? If there are, it will give me this. Are you sure you want to submit the loan at this time? I'm going to hit continue and submit the loan. And now we have requested disclosures to go out in town, and we have submitted the loan to underwriting once the loan gets disclosed. So
Okay.
we did 2 steps in one here, which is very good. And that's it.
All right.
Pretty easy stuff there.